At number 5, the Jonas Brothers. As we are all aware, Disney likes to keep their stars as clean as possible, so when they're caught being a little more adult and risque, that is definitely a problem for the company. This became Vanessa Hudgens' reality in 2007 after some of her private photos were leaked. Vanessa opened up about this scandal years later, saying that it was traumatic for her, having lost her privacy in that moment. It was also a big deal for Disney, who was trying to cover the story up and keep her image intact. Since she was one of the faces of the High School Musical franchise, it was important to the company to make this all go away. Joe Jonas even opened up about this time in Vanessa's life, saying that while he and his brothers were working for Disney at the time, he remembers the day the scandal broke and how the executives had Vanessa in their office for the whole day trying to deal with that mess. Joe even said that the other executives approached him and his brothers and praised them for not having had a scandal like this. This put a lot of pressure on the Jonas Brothers to always stay perfect in the eyes of the company. In a way, the Jonas Brothers warned us about Vanessa and her image. On one hand, the Joe Bros kind of exposed the lengths that people would go to give Vanessa the special treatment she required to get her out of this mess, and this special treatment could have impacted her ego, making her into who she is now. At number 4, Chrissy Teigen. In early 2020, when the world started ending, a lot of celebrities were voicing their thoughts and opinions on the global health crisis, and many of them faced backlash. From Madonna and her bathtub rant to Evangeline Lilly and her dismissal of the lockdown protocols, celebrities started facing backlash for their comments and actions, but the one celebrity who faced the most backlash in regards to their pandemic comments was actress Vanessa Hudgens. You might recall her comments about people passing away due to COVID and the backlash that ensued afterwards, but you might not recall who came to support her when she was being cancelled. Chrissy Teigen stepped up to defend the actress when she was getting torn to shreds online and in the news. In response to Vanessa being cancelled, Chrissy tweeted in her defense saying, quote, "Sometimes people, especially famous people, are gonna say some really stupid-ish, and so are you, and they and you will learn from it, and hopefully their history says they're good. It's okay, and at the same time, wow, they had a really dumb moment. But you don't have to ruin their lives. This isn't about me this time, but it will be one day, or it'll be you. But yeah, today it's Vanessa. LOL, and no, life isn't ruined for everyone. But you are damn well trying your best. Just stop." Unquote. Chrissy also ended up facing some backlash for those comments because she was seen as defending the remarks that Vanessa made. This could have been a warning about Vanessa, but as we would later come to find out, Chrissy is a little problematic herself, so one problematic person supporting another could spell disaster. Before we carry on talking about Vanessa Hudgens and the people who warned us about her true colors, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 3, Austin Butler. When you love someone, you want to show it, and what's a better way of showing it than defacing a natural United States property? I'm kidding, but Vanessa Hudgens was not. While on a romantic getaway with then-boyfriend Austin Butler, the two etched their names surrounded by a heart into a rock in Sedona, Arizona, and Vanessa posted a picture of it to her Instagram. Come to find out a little while later that what they did was totally illegal, and they ratted on themselves with that post. Since being made aware of her illegal activity, she removed the post and was ordered to pay a $1,000 fine for damages, but the outcome could have been so much worse. The maximum fine for this offense is $5,000 and a 6-month jail sentence. In a way, Austin and Vanessa's actions could have been a warning about the actress's sense of entitlement. She didn't see anything wrong with defacing the rocks in Arizona and didn't really care about the consequences, and that sort of speaks volumes about the type of person someone is. If you don't care about how your actions affect others, then that can kind of make you a bad person. At number 2, Zac Efron. When you think about Vanessa Hudgens, most people would picture her in High School Musical carrying around that Disney vibe, but after learning about her dark side, you might change your thoughts about her. Basically, Vanessa has been known to often let her jealousy get the best of her, and oftentimes this leads to people getting their feelings hurt. Take for example this one time when a fan approached Vanessa's ex, Zac Efron. The couple were out shopping at a department store when a young fan went up to Zac to tell him how much she loved him. She was apparently super nervous and stumbling over her words, and so instead of being an understanding and respectful person, Vanessa butt in and started making fun of the young fan. She started laughing at the poor girl and humiliated her in front of her celebrity crush. Now, even though Zac didn't exactly do anything in this specific situation, he did bring out a side of Vanessa because she was showing a jealous side when someone other than her was getting Zac's attention. This could have been a warning about how she is in a relationship, seeming to be quite emotional and attached, but also serving as a warning of the type of person she is when she's not on set, showing that she's not afraid to be rude, even to the people who support her the most. And finally, at number 1, Selena Gomez. Back in 2012, Vanessa Hudgens and Selena Gomez seemed to have gotten into a feud over a Vanity Fair cover. See, at the time, they were promoting their film Spring Breakers, pictures, and so there was a lot of attention on them, but it seemed like Vanessa wanted that attention more than anything because she got really upset when she found out that Selena was getting the Vanity Fair cover and not her. She played it off like Selena was only getting the spotlight because of her relationship with Justin Bieber at the time. A source close to Vanessa told sources, quote, "Vanessa won't let it go. She feels absolutely furious, especially since she has a much bigger role in Spring Breakers than Selena does," end quote. This side of Vanessa certainly wasn't flattering because she was giving off such diva energy. In a way, her feuds with Selena was a warning about how seriously Vanessa takes her time in the spotlight and just how she isn't willing to share that fame.
First up, we have a celebrity stylist. A TikToker with the username IamTahira decided to speak about the celebrity styling she did for some celebrities, and rate which ones were the best and worst. In the video, Tahira gave Anna Kendrick a rating of -100 out of 10, and called her a terrible person. The comments flooded asking her to give more details about the interaction, so she decided to make 2 more videos. In the first video, she said that in 2016 she was working as a stylist and her job was to put together some looks for one of Kendrick's book signings, saying, quote, "She comes, I'm walking her through the rack, she won't speak to me, that's strike 1. I'm asking her, do you want to wear pants or do you want to wear a dress? She won't say anything." Then Kendrick's PR lady told her that if they wanted Anna to wear one of the looks, they would have to pay her $10,000. Since that was not a part of Tahira's job, she got the PR team to talk about it. In the end, Anna just ended up wearing her own clothes to the signing. But that's not all. Another part of her job was that she had to collect all the gifts that fans left her at the signing. So she collected fan mail, letters, gift cards, drawings, and paintings from Anna's fans. But at the end of the event, instead of taking all the products, Kendrick said that she never looks at that stuff, and she told her publicist to trash it all. Apparently, years later, Kendrick came back to the store and worked with a different stylist. After that stylist was done with Kendrick, she went up to Tahira and told her that Kendrick got pissed at her because this stylist had no idea who Kendrick was. Next up, Blake Lively. Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick starred in the hit movie A Simple Favor together. So not only did they spend tons of time working together, they also had to be on the press tour with one another. Apparently that was a big issue for the women because they hated each other while filming the movie, and it was so bad that the studio executives had to get involved and mediate the tension between the women. In a TikTok, the page Celebrity Memoir Book Club claimed that when filming wrapped on the movie, Lively and Kendrick were not speaking, adding, quote, "They were basically enemies and their press tours had to be booked separately." The user said that they were not sure which actress was the one that started the feud because both women had been a part of feuds with their co-stars. Lively has previously feuded with Gossip Girl co-star Leighton Meester, while Kendrick is known for allegedly being disrespectful and rude to people ranging from waiters, bartenders, and fans. The TikToker was flooded with hate comments claiming that it wasn't true, even though the TikToker claimed that they had inside sources. As a clapback, the page shared a DM showing a studio executive at Lionsgate confirming basically everything the person had said. The DM read, quote, "They hated each other. The studio even had to have a talk with them about making it look like they liked each other on press tours because it was starting to get obvious. And in particular was really competitive with Blake and was constantly asking to make sure she got more promotion than Blake, and even made us Photoshop her cleavage in the Simple Favor poster to be as big or bigger than Blake's." So from this comment, it seems that Anna Kendrick might have been the reason for the feud. After news of this feud resurfaced, some fans looked back at their media interviews for A Simple Favor, and you can clearly see the tension. In one interview, Anna Kendrick mentioned the fact that she worked with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, and she says that she once thought that Blake was really nice, but doesn't know now. It seems like a joke at first, but obviously could hint at the tension going on behind the scenes. Blake then jokingly goes to touch her arm, and Anna sharply responds, "Don't touch me," which seemed very real to me. Then the pair were talking about Instagram and if they block certain people, and it was revealed that at one point Anna Kendrick blocked Blake Lively on Instagram. Then later she decided to mute her instead once that became an option. That whole interaction seemed a little too real to believe it was all playful banter. This is definitely a strange one, but Anna Kendrick was rated the #1 most dangerous person to search for online in 2020 by security company McAfee. I didn't even know that they made lists like this, but somehow Kendrick made the top of this list, even though she's known for quirky and girl next door type roles. This study is done every year to let customers know the best way they can protect their data online. They research which famous names generate the riskiest search results that could potentially trigger consumers to unknowingly install malware on their devices. She was number 4 in 2019, but was bumped up to number 1 in 2020. The study assumed that was because of her role in Trolls World Tour. Kendrick first gained fame in 2008 through Twilight, then landed the lead role of Becca in Pitch Perfect, and another in Up in the Air. Even though her roles are pretty tame, the security agency concluded that searching her name generated the most harmful links. Following Kendrick, the next most dangerous names are Sean Combs or P. Diddy, Blake Lively, and Mariah Carey. One executive at the company said, quote, "Cybercriminals use consumers' fascination with celebrity culture to drive unsuspecting fans to malicious websites that install malware on their devices, potentially putting personal information and login details in the wrong hands," adding that customers need to think twice before clicking. Barack Obama. Anna Kendrick found herself in a very strange situation when she ended up insulting the president and even called him an a-hole right to his face. Let me explain. Anna was on Stephen Colbert and explained the story behind how she met Barack Obama and made him double over with laughter during their meeting. During the conversation, Anna says that she was invited to a presidential event and showed up very early. Then during Obama's speech, he pointed her out personally and praised her for her movie Up in the Air. Afterward, when the two had a minute to chat, the president said he hoped that she hadn't felt singled out by him mentioning her movie. Quote, "I hope I didn't embarrass you earlier." Kendrick then responded, quote, "Yeah, you're such an a-hole." Then she mentioned that she was the first to arrive and that she was very punctual, being from Maine. When Obama asked her if that was a thing, she replied, quote, "You don't know that? You're the president." That entire interaction then made the president double over with laughter, but who knows if he felt that it was very awkward. One of Anna Kendrick's breakout roles was a side character in the movie Twilight, and a very shady incident happened that the rumor mill has blamed on Kendrick. Before the second Twilight movie came out, called New Moon, a salon owner found a script to the upcoming movie in the trash outside her salon. The first question that was asked was, who would have thrown at a script as precious and as top secret as this? And does this mean that the person didn't like the movie? After further investigation, it was exposed that the script was found outside of a hotel near St. Louis where George Clooney and a bunch of other stars filming the movie Up in the Air were staying. Guess who is filming that movie and also filmed Twilight? None other than Anna Kendrick. Nobody is sure why she did it, but everyone can agree it was not a good look. But that was not all. Anna got in some more hot water when she trashed the filming of the movie. While speaking with Vanity Fair, she reflected on what it was like filming the movie, saying, quote, "The first movie we filmed in Portland, Oregon, and I just remember being so cold and miserable. And I just remember my Converse being completely soaked through and feeling like, you know, this is a really great group of people and I'm sure we would have been friends at a different time, but I want to kill everyone." She even got shadier when she later added, quote, "Although it was also kind of bonding, there was something about it that was like, you know, you go through like some trauma event. Like you imagine people who survived a hot situation and you're kind of bonded for life." First up, Ming-Na Wen. Scarlett has had a ton of controversial moments in her career, but I think this one easily got the most media coverage and pushback. When Steven Spielberg got the rights to remake a Japanese movie called Ghost in the Shell, he cast Johansson in the lead role. The role was called Major, a cyborg soldier with a human brain and a cybernetic body, who is the main character. Although the project was a huge hit in Asia and was expected to do similar numbers in North America, this casting decision led the movie to be a flop, because fans accused the movie of whitewashing. The public called on the studio to cast an Asian woman in the role instead of a white woman, since it was based on a Japanese character. Months later, Stephen Paul, a producer on the film, defended the decision to cast Johansson as Major, explaining to BuzzFeed News that Sanders' Ghost in the Shell adaptation takes place in an international world, adding that it isn't just a Japanese story and it does not just focus on Japan, rather the whole world. Johansson also did not back down when asked about the casting and stood by the decision. When talking about it with Mary Claire, she said, quote, "I never presumed to play another race. Diversity is important in Hollywood, and I would never want to feel like I was playing a character that was offensive." She then pivoted to talk about how amazing it is to have a woman heading a huge franchise like this. Johansson also defended the choice by stating that the character is a human brain inside of a machine body, making it identity-less. But Asian actors did not agree with Johansson's take and shared how disappointed they were in the casting choice. When the photo of Johansson in the film came out, Ming-Na Wen, who stars on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., tweeted, quote, "Nothing against Scarlett Johansson, in fact I'm a big fan, but everything against this whitewashing of Asian role." Many other actors shared similar sentiments about whitewashing the franchise. Harvey Weinstein. In 2017, the terrible actions of movie producer Harvey Weinstein were exposed to the public, and plenty of actresses came forward sharing their experiences working with him. Many shared that they had to perform sexual favors in exchange for roles. In light of all the terrible press surrounding Weinstein, many actresses boycotted Weinstein and his family, including his wife at the time, Georgina Chapman, who founded the clothing brand Marchesa. However, Scarlett did not boycott Marchesa, and instead she decided to show off the designer by wearing them at the Met Gala that year. Multiple actresses also came forward to share that Weinstein previously pressured and even threatened them to wear Marchesa to events, so many felt his wife was in cahoots with him. Many people questioned why Johansson, a supporter of both Me Too and Time's Up, decided to publicly support Chapman's designs. She explained herself in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, saying, quote, "I wore Marchesa because their clothes make women feel confident and beautiful. It's my pleasure to support a brand created by two incredibly talented and important female designers." Jamie Clayton. In 2018, Johansson had another casting blunder when she signed up to play the role of Dante Tex Gill, a trans man that operated a massage parlor business in the 70s, in the film Rub and Tug. The LGBTQ+ community and its allies argued that the role should have gone to a trans actor, not a cisgender woman, and said it contributed to trans erasure. Even with all the criticism, Johansson once again stood her ground and defended the casting. Mainly, she tried to take the blame off herself and put it onto other cis actors who had played trans characters in the past. Johansson told Bustle at the time, quote, "Tell them they can be directed to Jeffrey Tambor, Jared Leto, and Felicity Huffman's refs for comment. This is because Jeffrey Tambor played a trans woman on Transparent, Jared Leto was cast as a trans woman in Dallas Buyers Club, and Felicity Huffman took on a role as a trans woman in Trans America." However, since the backlash with the project did not stop, Johansson later decided to leave the project. Johansson went on to say she understood why people felt that Dante should be played by a trans actor, adding that she's grateful to participate in a controversial debate that sparked a larger conversation about diversity and representation in film. She said later that she mishandled the backlash. Trans actor Jamie Clayton shared their thoughts in a tweet, writing, quote, "Actors who are trans never even get to audition for anything other than trans characters. That's the real issue. We can't even get in the room. Cast actors who are trans as non-trans characters, I dare you." However, the drama with this casting did not end there, and Johansson said more controversial statements surrounding this topic a year later, saying that she should be able to play any character that she wants. Quote, "You know, as an actor I should be allowed to play any person, or any tree, or any animal, because that is my job and the requirements of my job." Adding, quote, "Today there's a lot of emphasis and conversation about what acting is and who we want to see represent ourselves on screen. The question now is, what is acting anyway?" However, she later said that her controversial comments were taken out of context and it was edited for clickbait. She later clarified, saying, quote, "I personally feel that in an ideal world, any actor should be able to play anybody in art, and all forms should be immune to political correctness. That is the point I was making, albeit it didn't come across that way." Woody Allen. Another controversial take from Scarlett was her support of Woody Allen during his scandal, where he's accused of sexual misconduct by several women, including Dylan Farrow, who is the child of Mia Farrow, whom Allen married. After this, many women took Dylan Farrow's side and boycotted Allen. However, Scarlett was not one of them and actually defended Woody Allen. Johansson had worked with Allen on films like Match Point, Scoop, and Vicky Cristina Barcelona, and she said in 2019 that she would still work with him if the opportunity came up. After the allegations surfaced, Johansson said in an interview, quote, "I love Woody. I believe him and I would work with him anytime." Apparently she speaks with him often, and the pair have had many conversations about these allegations. She added, quote, "I've been very direct with him and he's very direct with me. He maintains his innocence and I believe him." This is not only very problematic but also hypocritical, because Scarlett publicly called out James Franco for supporting Time's Up before 5 women accused him of misconduct. Dylan Farrow also called out Scarlett on Twitter, quote, "If we've learned anything from the past 2 years is that you definitely should believe men who maintain their innocence without question. Scarlett has a long way to go in understanding the issues she claims to champion," referring to the actor's public support of Me Too and Time's Up. Months later, in her 2019 Vanity cover story, Johansson doubled down on her previous comments about Allen. Quote, "It's my experience, I don't know any more than any other person knows. I only have a close proximity with Woody. He's a friend of mine. I have no other insight other than my relationship with him." Continuing that she doesn't want to lie or edit herself, and she wants to openly share her opinions on the matter. Benedict Cumberbatch. Recently, Scarlett Johansson got tons of press after she decided to sue Disney over their Black Widow premiere. It's common for actors to get a portion of the box office numbers, but Scarlett felt she was not given a fair amount by Disney because they decided to premiere the movie at home on Disney Plus as well as in theaters, which made the theater sum significantly smaller than usual. Fellow Disney star Benedict Cumberbatch reacted to the news, calling the ordeal, quote, a bit of a mess. During a wide-ranging profile with The Hollywood Reporter, Benedict Cumberbatch said he thought it was sad how the whole thing was unfolding. The lawsuit claims that Johansson lost untold potential revenue while Disney execs profited by growing the Disney Plus streaming services base at the same time. Disney fired back, calling the lawsuit sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the new state of the world due to lockdown measures. When asked about the legal turmoil with his co-star, Cumberbatch said, quote, "It's sad what's going on between the lawyers, but he said we need to put it in context of what's happening in the world right now," adding, quote, "The whole thing's just a bit of a mess. We're trying to understand what the revenue stream should be for artists to contribute to the billion-dollar business that is Disney, and it has to be contractualized." Many were surprised that he didn't all-out support Johansson like other stars had at the time. WandaVision star Emily Olsen called the move brave, and she fiercely defended Johansson's decision. Jennifer Lawrence. This is one we're not sure is a real feud or not, but sources claim that since Lauren and Johansson are both engaged and plan to wed in New York City, they're trying to upstage each other with their weddings. According to the outlet, Johansson and Lawrence have never liked each other, and the situation is getting worse now that they're both planning weddings in the New York area. The source said they definitely want to outshine each other on their big days, and it's assumed their weddings will take place shortly after one another's. Apparently, Johansson has always been a little envious of the roles that Jen's got over her because Scarlett believes she's more talented than Jen. Apparently, Scarlett also doesn't like Jen's quirky personality and finds it annoying, adding, quote, "She feels Jennifer is a bit of a phony." The feud was taken up a notch when both women looked at the same venue for their wedding in the Hamptons, but they don't want to get married at the same place, so they are keeping serious tabs on one another. Drew Barrymore is Hollywood royalty. She started working when she was only 5 years old and catapulted to fame very fast. She's now considered among the nicest and most beloved celebrities there is. But even though it seems that way, not everybody loves her, and she has some feuds with other celebrities. So let's get into the celebrities who tried to warn us about Drew Barrymore. First up, Winona Ryder. We're not sure if this one is true, but tabloid site Gossip Cop revealed that secretly Drew Barrymore hates Winona and refuses to have Winona on her daytime show. The reason for this big feud is none other than relationship drama with Tom Green, Barrymore's ex-husband. Tom Green and Drew had a short marriage that ended in 2002. But even though they were split up, Drew was reportedly furious when Green and Ryder started up a fling in 2008. Sources say Green and Ryder never confirmed their relationship, but it was a well-kept secret among celebrities. According to the report, the two women have been at odds since the 1990s when they were vying for the same roles in films. And since they were never really friends in the first place, Barrymore does not feel like she needs to invite Winona on her show. The source revealed that Drew's team knows not even to bring up Winona as a possibility when guests are needed for the show, because Drew would never be able to pretend that she liked her. According to an article, quote, "This incident added to the disagreement between Drew and Winona, which has existed for the majority of their lives." Next up, Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres has been exposed for being very different from her persona as the nice lady of daytime TV. And shockingly, her and Drew Barrymore got in a major feud, which is interesting because Drew is also universally known as nice. It's been rumored that this feud started way back when they were co-producing a show together, and they've been on the rocks ever since, as one source told In Touch Weekly in 2017. The women joined forces for NBC reality show First Dates, looking like more of a docu-series than a traditional reality show. The summary of the show said it's a, quote, groundbreaking series that explored all of the simple wonders of a first date. No competition, no eliminations, just a first date. Where it goes from there, it's up to you. DeGeneres signed on as the show's executive director, and Barrymore agreed to narrate the series. But almost immediately the pair butted heads, and neither star wanted to make any compromises. A source said, quote, "Ellen expected to be the one calling the shots, but Drew thinks she should have creative control because she's the movie star the people are turning in to see." The source hinted that Drew was the one overstepping, as executives always take precedent over the stars. In the end, the show only lasted one season, so clearly there were issues that needed resolving. The real question here is who was in the wrong? We know that Ellen was mean to her employees and everyday people, but no other celebrity has said a bad word about her, while everyone seems to say nice things about Drew. Barrymore is even thought to be, quote, one of the sweetest, most down-to-earth stars around, according to Bustle, who included the actress in their list of the absolute nicest celebrities in showbiz. I guess we might never know the true story behind this one. Next up, Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson is another A-list star that Drew has allegedly feuded with. If you don't already know, both 90s icons now have daytime talk shows, and that has created some tension between them. Apparently, after Drew decided to start up her daytime show, she enlisted the help of some of her A-list friends to help her score the top rating spot. Apparently, Drew asked her friends to not go on Kelly's show and instead to be exclusive to Drew. Inside sources told the outlet that the ET actress is the favorite host among celebrities. Once Ellen officially steps down and Kelly takes her time slot, things will get really competitive. Drew's A-list friends are seriously old school about this stuff, and they're going to band together to give her all the support she needs. This source also claimed that these A-list friends include Cameron Diaz, Reese Witherspoon, and Hugh Grant. The source added, quote, Drew's got a ton of loyalty in the movie industry her rival will never have. She's got the whole of Hollywood on her contact list. The source said that Kelly's lineup of guests is interesting, but not to the level that Drew can pull. Everyone's waiting for Ellen to leave, but people are placing their bets on Drew, and they think she'll be the ratings grabber. Currently in the ratings war, Kelly is the winner, and Clarkson is set to take Ellen's coveted spot when Ellen's show ends next season. But Barrymore's ratings are climbing, so who knows what the future might hold. Jade Barrymore. A lot has been said about Jade Barrymore, and honestly, not a lot of it is good. It's been reported that after Drew got addicted to substances when she was a Hollywood child star, her mother did nothing to stop it, and even encouraged the behavior by taking her to Studio 54. But when she was only 13, Jade decided Drew needed a serious wake-up call, and forced her to stay in treatment programs to set her straight. After Drew moved out of her mother's house, started partying out of control, and got in a life-threatening car crash, Drew's mom knew she needed to do something. Although Drew does not blame her mother now, she knows the decision to put her in treatment probably saved her life. When speaking about the treatment, Drew said, quote, I was in a place for a year and a half called Van Nuys Psychiatric, and you don't mess around in there, and if you did, you would get thrown either in a padded room or get put in stretcher restraints and tied up. Drew admitted that since she started making money so young, she had tons of money and fame to use to her advantage. At the time, she was not going to school, sneaking out to clubs, and stealing her mom's car. Drew exposed that she was in this treatment center for 6 to 8 months. During the first 6, she said she was incredibly angry about the whole situation, but now she knows it was the best move. Drew added, quote, I think after, 30 years of therapy and a lot of soul searching and having kids myself, I think she created a monster. She probably felt like she had nowhere to turn. And I'm sure she lived with a lot of guilt for years about creating the monster, but then I think she lived in a lot of pain, and I also wouldn't talk to her for a long time. Steven Spielberg. If you didn't already know, legendary director Steven Spielberg is the godparent of Drew. Since Drew did not grow up with her father in her life, Spielberg was a huge father figure. Drew even said he was the first person in her life to truly care about her. And of course, he did not always agree with her choices, specifically when she was spinning out of control in her teen years. When Drew was 19, she posed nude for the January 1995 issue of Playboy. In response to the images, Spielberg sent Drew a message that she would never forget. For her 20th birthday, Spielberg reportedly sent her the photos, photoshopped to show her wearing clothes in them. He also sent her a quilt. Along with the goods was a note that read, quote, cover yourself up. Clearly a message that Drew took to heart and held her accountable for her actions at that time. But thankfully, the two are on great terms today and still see each other often. While he was doing an interview on her show, Spielberg said, quote, I've always cared about you ever since the first time this little blonde hurricane walked into an audition in my office and took us by storm, and then soon took the entire world by storm. This was you then, and this is you today. Barrymore explained how important it is to her to always make Spielberg proud. Quote, I always thought every time I was doing something good or right, I would always think about how you would think or feel about it because I loved making you proud, she said to Spielberg. And finally, Drew Barrymore herself. Drew Barrymore has been more open than anyone about her regrettable past, and she's done a lot of work to improve her life and image. In her memoir called Wildflower, Drew spoke about some of the worst experiences of her life. At one point, she was so out of control, she said she was, quote, hungry for anarchy. She told a story about befriending a rock band at a hotel, and after the show, while the group was drunk, they decided to raid the hotel and throw people's luggage over the balcony, randomly stealing people's hanging laundry bags off their doors while screaming through the hallways. Revealing, quote, In an effort to take this crazy stunt higher, we found a bunch of open doors as people were partying in the hotel, and we threw their clothes off the balconies. She was having a great time until she saw that some of the clothes fell into a river and sank in the water. She started throwing a pair of sandals from a balcony, and that's when she felt a lot of regret, wondering what the person would wear on their feet now. Writing in the book, quote, "I knew immediately this was so wrong and I hated myself." She added that she wound up in her room scolding herself and vowed to never F anyone over like that again. And as a result of that night, Drew thinks she is cursed with karma because she is well known for always losing her clothes. Priyanka Chopra Jonas is one of those celebrities that people seem to hate for no reason. But maybe there is a reason after all, because other celebrities have tried to warn us about her shady behavior in the past. Let's get into this list. First up, we got Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle is one of Priyanka's best friends. Many were shocked to see Chopra at Markle's wedding to Prince Harry, but anyone that knew their past would know the ladies had been friends for years. However, there were rumors that their relationship had soured after the ladies started missing each other's big events. It started after Markle did not attend Chopra's wedding to Nick Jonas in India. Reportedly, Priyanka was so hurt by this, she decided not to attend Markle's New York City baby shower. Page 6 reported that Priyanka wanted an apology from Meghan and felt that she, quote, didn't respect their friendship. Both women denied the feud rumors, and sources later said that Priyanka did not attend because she had prior work commitments, which Meghan was aware of. After the feud rumors got too big to ignore, a source told E! That they are perfectly fine. Quote, "All the rumors that Priyanka and Meghan aren't friends anymore are totally not true. Priyanka and Meghan are still very close friends and they talk frequently. Meghan confides in Priyanka about the adjustments she's had to make with being a royal." Adding, quote, "Just because Priyanka didn't go to the shower or that Meghan couldn't come to her weddings doesn't mean anything about their friendship. They're still very close friends, and Meghan considers Priyanka one of her closest confidants." Priyanka echoed these statements herself during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live. A fan called in and asked, quote, "Priyanka, are the rumors true that you were upset that Meghan Markle skipped your wedding to Nick Jonas?" Host Andy Cohen stirred the pot further, adding, quote, "They said you didn't go to her baby shower because you were mad at her." Priyanka laughed off the feud, saying, quote, "Oh my god, no, it's not true." Next up, Aisha Malik. Other than her acting talents, Priyanka is known for being very engaged in social issues. She was even named the UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador because of how often she uses her platform for good. But while at a beauty event in 2019, Aisha Malik put a huge stain on Priyanka's reputation when she asked Priyanka to comment on problematic social media posts, specifically her feelings about India and Pakistan's strained relationship. Earlier that year, Priyanka tweeted, quote, "Jai Hind," which loosely translates to Hail India. The slogan was accompanied by a hashtag Indian Army, which may have alluded to Indian fighter jets a militant training camp in Pakistan. This tweet got tons of backlash, with some claiming the tweet meant she was pushing for war between India and Pakistan. Malik then asked Chopra how she could speak about peace and love at this event, but tweet problematic things about world issues, asking, quote, "You are UNICEF ambassador for peace and you're encouraging nuclear war against Pakistan." Before Malik could continue with her question, the mic was pulled away from her, and Priyanka responded, quote, "I hear you whenever you're done venting. Got it? Okay, cool." Chopra then told the woman, quote, "Don't yell, don't embarrass yourself." It was really rude and showed just how little Priyanka cared about listening to her fans. Later in an interview with Gulf News, Malik said, quote, "What sparked me to say this was after she tweeted Jai Hind on February 26th, there was radio silence from her. All the Bollywood actors were saying Jai Hind too. The thing between her and other Bollywood actors is that Priyanka is international. She is Miss Jonas. She's more than just a Bollywood actress. Therefore, I was more frustrated with her than the other Bollywood actors." Malik claimed that she had no intention to get famous from the incident, and had it been her intention, she would have been more eloquent with her question. Aisha also said that she was, quote, "disappointed with Priyanka's answer," saying that she was clearly forced to respond on the spot without her usual team of PR experts. Priyanka made no further comment on the matter. Next up, Danielle Jonas. Danielle Jonas, who's been married to eldest Jonas brother Kevin for years now, has been rumored to hate new sister-in-law Priyanka. There's been little digs that the sisters have thrown out against each other over the years, but neither of them had said anything until Danielle decided to comment on these rumors. The feud rumor started when Danielle did not attend Priyanka's bachelorette party. She claimed that she couldn't attend because she was moving. Things got worse after she wished Sophie Turner a happy birthday. The whole story began with an Instagram post. It was Sophie Turner's birthday, who is another one of the Jonas Brothers' wives. She's married to Joe Jonas. So Danielle wanted to be nice to her sister-in-law and posted a few photos of them together on Instagram, along with the caption, quote, "My girls and I are so blessed to have you in our lives. They can't get enough of their Aunt Sophie. You deserve the world and I hope you're having an amazing birthday." In the comments, some users wrote, quote, "The low-key shade in this though. I love sassy Danny." To which another replied, "I read it the same way. Shade against Priyanka, right?" But Danielle decided to squash the beef rumors quickly, responding to that comment writing, quote, "Nope, no shade about Priyanka, it's just Sophie's birthday, so I wanted to say happy birthday. I think everyone should stop with thinking that we don't like Priyanka, she is lovely. I am so over people trying to make a problem." So it seems like this is case closed, right? Well, not quite. Fans think Priyanka has also been shady towards Danielle in the past. Most notably, Priyanka often refers to Sophie as her J sister, but she's never given Danielle this nickname. Interestingly, however, Danielle was one of the bridesmaids at Priyanka's wedding with Nick Jonas. So I guess it's up to you guys to decide what you think. Akshay Kumar. It's been widely rumored that Priyanka was blacklisted from appearing in Bollywood projects because she's had multiple affairs with married men. The first married man is Akshay Kumar. It's been rumored that while Akshay and his wife Twinkle were dining at a restaurant, they had a huge fight about his affair with Priyanka. Someone who was at this restaurant told the tabloids what happened. They said, quote, "The fight happened in full public view as both Akshay and Twinkle screamed at each other. One got the distinct impression that he had admitted to having an affair with Priyanka Chopra." Since then, it's been rumored that Twinkle forbid Akshay from ever working with Priyanka ever again. The pair had starred in multiple movies together, each time his wife was getting more suspicious of Priyanka. Priyanka and his wife Twinkle even had a fight of their own. It was reported that they screamed at one another over the phone, and it got so bad that Twinkle went to set to confront Priyanka. When she was not there, Twinkle instead confronted her husband, and the pair had a huge fight on set in front of the cast and crew. Reportedly the next day, Akshay issued an official statement claiming that he will not accept any work alongside Priyanka. Since then, they have not starred in any movies together. And finally, Priyanka Chopra herself. There is something about Priyanka that really rubs people the wrong way, and it's not hard to find people openly trashing the star on social media. One case that got her a ton of backlash was when she appeared on the cover of Condé Nast Traveler in 2016 and was wearing a shirt that raised a lot of eyebrows. BBC reported, quote, "The top has the words migrant, refugee, and outsider crossed out, while the word traveler stands out," which was not only confusing but really tone deaf. After fans started to attack Chopra for wearing the shirt, she responded, quote, "I'm really apologetic about the fact that so many sentiments were hurt. I'm someone who always stands for no labels. I was very affected and felt really horrible." She added that she wanted the magazine to tackle xenophobia, which is a big issue in regards to a lot of these labels. When asked why they included the phrase traveler, Condé Nast claimed that they wanted to be ambiguous about people moving in or out. Whether it's by choice or not by choice, you're still traveling. This is obviously not true, and refugees are fleeing their home countries because it's not safe, not because they just want to travel. That's not all. She's had a reputation for not being subtle about her accomplishments in the past, and many fans think she brags about herself any chance that she gets. Speaking with the Daily Beast in 2019, Chopra was speaking about her background and said, quote, "I come from a very academic family. I was very academically inclined when I was 17. I didn't really think the profession of glamour was a real profession, because everyone in my family was academic. But it changed by fluke when I won Miss India." At first you think that's an endearing story, but if you really listen to her comments, she included not one but two brags about how great she is. Not only did it come across as out of touch, she also bashed people in the entertainment industry by claiming she didn't think it was a real profession. This is just one of many times fans think she was arrogant in an interview.
Stranger Things Season 4 is fast approaching and is set to drop on Netflix on May 27th, 2022, with the second half dropping on July 1st, 2022. Are you all excited? Are you a fan of Stranger Things? Let me know in the comments below. With that being said, you must love Eleven, played by Millie Bobby Brown. Many have said that Millie is an amazing actress and very mature for her age, while others think the exact opposite. Today, we'll be looking at celebrities who aren't too fond of Millie Bobby Brown. Starting off this countdown, we have the tabloids. According to a number of big news tabloids, Millie Bobby Brown has actually changed a lot because of her success with Stranger Things. There's a side of her that we don't get to see, but they do when conducting interviews. One source revealed, and I quote, "Brown was cool, aloof, and downright rude during promotional events for season 3 of Stranger Things. So much so that her publicist had to give her a little lesson in how to deal with media and fans." Well then, that's pretty awkward. Coming in at number 9, we have David Harbour. The bond that Millie's character Eleven and David Harbour's character Jim Hopper have on screen is incredibly beautiful. They are very close and share a deep love for each other. It's safe to say that in the show, they both saved each other in different ways. But outside of the set, the relationship is different. They both still love and care for each other, but David is very concerned about Millie. He's afraid that the fame and public attention will get to her head. In a podcast, David said, and I quote, "I have a real worry. I worry about her and the fame and all that she has to struggle with." David revealed this around the same time that Millie was facing a number of scandals, which we will be talking about next. In our 8th spot, we have Hunter Echo. Now, this is one of the scandals that I was talking about, and it's probably her biggest one. In July of 2021, during a live stream, Hunter Echo drunkenly admitted that he groomed Millie and that he did acts with her. Millie was 16 at the time, Hunter was 20. The age of consent is 18, but Hunter argued that everything was consensual, and Millie's mom and dad knew everything. He even said that he lived in her house for 8 months. Still, the relationship was very inappropriate, and later, Millie's team said that they are taking action against Hunter and his claims as they were dishonest. Either way, Hunter had some nasty things to say about Millie. In the end, he got himself in big trouble instead of exposing Millie. In our 7th spot today, we have Drake. Now, this is another pretty weird controversy that Millie was involved in. It all started when it was revealed that Drake and her were pretty close and that they were frequently texting each other, which is weird because of their age difference. Like, Drake's in his 30s texting a teenager. And fans pointed out that Drake met one of his exes when she was a teenager and then later dated when she was of age. Anyways, according to Drake, Millie has a lot of boy trouble that he helps her with. Even Millie admitted in an interview that Drake helps her with her boy drama. When asked about what kind of boy drama, she said that it stays in the text messages. In our 6th spot, we have the Stardom. Another tabloid revealed that Millie is having a hard time handling her stardom. They said, and I quote, "Millie has turned into a rude star and is unable to handle the stardom on her own." There are multiple videos of her interviews where people declare that Millie never leaves a chance to be in the spotlight and always interrupts her co-actors, which shows that she is being selfish and arrogant. End quote. Now, we will be talking about these interviews later on, but it is true. Whenever the Stranger Things cast does have an interview, Millie always takes the lead, preventing her co-stars to get a word in. And when they do talk, she often cuts them off and takes over the conversation, leaving them pretty annoyed. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with her behavior. According to some sources, Millie has already become a diva. Apparently, Millie's attitude was fine during Stranger Things season 1, but as soon as she got all the attention, her attitude changed. She started trying to behave more adult-like for the press, and a lot of people aren't here for it. In fact, she has been called cringy for it. It also makes it hard on set if she thinks she's top tier and the best. In fact, some people have labeled her as one of the most annoying actresses. Coming in at number 4, we have Jacob Sartorius. The two dated in 2017 for a few months. Millie said that when they broke up that it was mutual, but it seems like Jacob was pretty hurt over their breakup. In fact, he apparently wrote a number of songs about Millie, including the song "We're Not Friends," and the lyrics definitely call her out. Some lyrics go as so: "You're bad at seeing signals, girl. I've never introduced you to a single girl. And everything I do around you is on purpose, putting in the work for ya, hoping that it's working. I spent about a year just playing my part. I'm picking up the pieces to your broken heart." He also goes on to sing, "Girl, I want to give you more than good advice." Yikes. Jacob? Yikes. Who knew Jacob had it in him? Coming in at number 3, we have Sadie Sink. Now, according to Millie Bobby Brown, Sadie Sink is one of her closest friends. However, there have been a number of incidences between the two that make us think that Sadie isn't the fondest of Millie. First off, let's take a look at this clip from an interview with the Stranger Things cast.
Because I mean, it was fun, but because Sadie got to see how crazy I am when I'm 11. I'm just always really deep in thought, and so working together for the first time was really fun.
I feel so sorry for her. Look at how walled up and awkward she gets when Millie cuts her off. And if you watch other interviews, she continually does this with Sadie, and Sadie's face says it all. In our 2nd spot today, we have Caleb. Now, during the same interview, Caleb, who plays Lucas Sinclair on Stranger Things, I guess noticed that Sadie wasn't talking and kind of shied off. So he kind of called out Millie and asked Sadie if she wanted to say anything.
Sadie, do you want to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Sadie, what do
You guys set it off.
Had he not said anything, Millie would have just continued to talk the whole interview without letting Sadie get a word in. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Caleb Part 2. During the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, Sadie, Caleb, and Millie went on stage to accept the award for Stranger Things. And well, take a look at how that went.
And obviously, you guys.
Millie literally couldn't wait her turn and prevented Caleb from saying anything. After which he kind of just gives a look like, really? Really, Millie? And it was captured all on live TV. Also, Millie doesn't even turn to apologize or anything. I don't even think she realized that he tripped in the back.